Today we're going to do a session so we can actually observe how a Scalar Heart Connection session is done in real life. And today we have Mary with us. Hi, Mary.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. Are you anxious to have a session?
I am.
Good. So the first thing we want to do is sign in to our practitioner login session, and we go to scalarheartconnection.com, and up on the top it says session login, and under login we just type in our user ID and our password, and we scroll down to where it says full session, and we want to do the session today in English. So I type in the client's name is Mary. And Mary, how old are you?
I am 25.
And we'll just put Mary at Gmail. This is so that we can send a copy of the session to the client afterwards. And the city we'll say is in Los Angeles. And then, Mary, what would you like to ask your heart about today?
Well, I would like to ask my heart why I have a fear of traveling alone.
Fantastic. So just close your eyes for a moment and take a deep breath. Just try and clear your mind of all thoughts and worries and anticipating about the session or the problem. And ask your heart to just gently show you a number 1 through 7.
Four.
So the number 4 just kind of comes up to the surface of your mind.
Yeah.
Or your mind's eye. It's coming from the heart, not the mind.
Mm-hmm.
And what the heart is telling us is that the issue is coming from the crown chakra.
Okay.
And the crown chakra, when that comes up on an archetypal level, it usually means that there are issues with anger or depression that arise from unresolved emotions from the past, which can challenge us to examine our heart's desire to possess or control, or satisfying our ego without considerations. So what it is, it's a process where we learn to release our worries, strengthen our sense of self-worth, and learn to trust in the wisdom of our own heart. So from an archetypal standpoint, does that sound like it's fitting what you're wrestling with?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. So let's ask the heart to show us, well, what is the underlying emotion that is creating the problem? And you'll notice that in the crown chakra, there isn't a choice. There's always one. And that one is meaning and purpose. So in the crown, it's always about our connection to the divine, our connection with the universe, with our higher self, however we want to frame that. But it's essentially reconnecting with trust, reconnecting with trusting ourselves. So we're going to skip right over to what is our mind thinking in the background. So we have like this subconscious thought process, which is coming from old tapes that we've adopted from childhood. There are 12 of those, so ask your heart to gently show you a number 1 through 12.
11.
So your mind is saying, I have to suffer. There's this subconscious belief that we just suffer in life.
Right.
We have to suffer. No matter what I do, if I travel, if I don't travel, I'm just here. I'm meant to suffer. And that's actually kind of a common belief. Human beings have problems just allowing good things to happen to them. We feel like, well, we have to struggle. That's what life is all about. That's the old tape. So
Right.
what is it? How does it sound like to you to say out loud, I have to suffer?
I have to suffer.
Yeah, how does that feel to say that?
It feels silly. It feels silly to say.
Yeah, good. So let's see what the heart would like to replace that old, worn out belief with by asking our heart to show us a number 1 through 7.
5.
5 is that life is an adventure. That it's
No.
easy. We don't have to suffer. It's easy.
Life is an adventure.
Life is an adventure. So say that out loud again. Life is an adventure.
Life is an adventure.
Yeah. So whether you're traveling alone or you're traveling with other people, either way it's going to be an adventure.
Yay! That sounds like fun.
And probably traveling by yourself creates opportunities for more adventure.
Right.
Ask your heart to show you number 1 or 2.
2.
So each chakra on a nervous system level innervates an organ or a system. And in this case, the heart is telling us that the nervous system is involved in this fear of traveling alone. And so that is, when the nervous system comes up, we can imagine that as a fight or flight kind of response.
Yeah,
So
I feel that.
Yeah, so when I travel, I feel like, well, I'm not safe.
Right.
I could be hurt. I could be harmed.
Yeah.
So let's see, what do we need to do to strengthen the belief of our nervous system by asking our heart to show us a number 1 through 5.
3.
I trust my inner voice. Yeah.
Wow, that's big.
So if we trust our inner voice, we would know, we could sense, I suppose, if we are really in danger or if it's just something that we are just making up in our mind just out of old fear.
Right. I trust my inner voice.
I trust my inner voice. So let's see, where is this all being held? By asking our heart to show us a number 1 through 5.
4.
So this could have been mental or emotional, psychological, energetic, or spiritual. But for you, in this particular issue, this is all in your head. This is all your mind thinking. So let's ask our heart, what is our mind thinking? What is the unresolved issue in our mind? We don't want to ask our mind because our mind generally won't tell us the truth.
Right.
Yeah, so let's ask our heart to tell us, what is our mind thinking with a number 1 through 6?
2.
And 2 is, it's about relationships. Why does relationships come up?
Well, recent events, my fiance and I broke up. And he was my traveling partner. Or so I thought. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, very interesting that you just broke up with your fiancé. And is it possible that you feel safer by traveling with a man?
Yes. I feel safer traveling with anybody.
With anybody.
Someone that I have a relationship with.
Okay. And why do you imagine that is so?
I guess when I am with someone, especially someone who I have a relationship with, I know that they care about my well-being.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, and then I also like to share the moments of joy and excitement in those adventures, and I have a story to tell with someone.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I just need to make that relationship myself, have a relationship with me.
And what about the fear? Because I still hear that when you travel with somebody, they can protect you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's keep that in the back of our mind and see what our heart has to say about that. But let's see where is this issue all coming from? The issue being that we are afraid to travel by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
With a number 1 through 4.
4.
So this is all in the collective consciousness. So when collective consciousness comes up, it can mean a couple things. It can mean that this is a societal belief, that just from by societal, it can be our community, it can be within our family, it can be within just our group of friends, that we accumulate this belief that traveling to other countries is not safe.
Right.
And from a society standpoint, Americans certainly have a fear of traveling into other countries.
Right.
Yeah,
especially being female.
Right. So that is a societal belief that it is unsafe for American females to travel abroad.
Right.
And the more
especially alone,
and the more exotic the country, the scarier it is.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting that it's usually a belief we hold on to without ever having actually traveled to those places.
Right.
Which I guess that's what makes it the belief.
Yeah.
It's not born from experience, it's just something we believe in. Mm-hmm. And so the other possibility that it can come from our family system.
Right.
And that can of course come from mother or father or grandparents, our ancestors.
Mm-hmm. Which is actually really funny. So I took my first solo hike yesterday, and my mom had a little conniption. I, to be safe, texted her where I was going because she lives in town, and she was like, "What? You're going by yourself? Where are you going? Send me the coordinates and all of this stuff." I was like, "Mom, it's just it's an easy hike. Like I'm not bushwhacking my way through.
Right.
I don't know. So, let alone traveling by myself."
Right. So this is important because you are in the energetic field of your mother.
Right.
And your mother's mother. Mm-hmm. So this can become an ancestral belief system, which we could look into deeper through family constellation, for example.
Right.
However, it feels like the bottom line for us today is that there is this family genetic fear around females traveling by themselves. Mm-hmm. So why don't we accept that on face value and ask the heart, what do I need to replace that with? In other words, when our family system has this fear of traveling by themselves, women traveling by themselves, that is a chaotic energy. It's a chaotic vibration, and it displaces something positive. So something positive has not been allowed to enter the family system. Mm-hmm. So let's ask our heart, what is that? What is missing? What do I need to reclaim? And that's why I call it the unmet heart need, because it's like the heart bill of rights. The heart is
Right.
entitled to this, but it didn't get it because of this collective consciousness belief. So ask your heart to show you a number 1 through 44.
27.
Life-giving food. What do you imagine the heart is trying to tell us with that?
Life-giving food.
Life-giving food, if we're talking about mother, life-giving food is nurturing.
Like breastfeeding, yeah.
Well, yeah, like
nurturing.
breastfeeding, early childhood bonding,
Yeah.
knowing that you're safe.
Life-giving food. Yeah.
Yeah. So was there anything in your early childhood where maybe you didn't feel safe or connected to your mother in some bonding way?
I'm not sure. I mean, when we talk about food, I immediately think of my weight.
Uh-huh.
My mom has always been very harsh on my weight.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know.
So what is your relationship to food?
Not a good one.
Well,
I live to eat instead of eating to live.
so eating is comforting.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like being comforted, which is very similar to that early infant mother bonding.
Right.
So was there a time early in your life where you were separated from your mother? Did your mother work, or did you ever have to go to like daycare?
Yeah, a lot. I had lots of babysitters and things growing up.
Okay. And so how just thinking back as that child, how did it feel to be separated from your mother?
Lonely.
Alone.
Yeah.
And so
which is now what I feel since I'm single.
Yes.
I see the connection here.
Yeah. And so that loneliness is filled up with food.
Right.
And so let's see if there is a trigger, and then we'll explore what we need to do to actually repattern that whole thought process.
Okay.
Ask your heart to show you number 1 through 15.
8.
So it's behavior. Behavior becomes a trigger.
Okay.
And by that, a trigger is something that suddenly something happens and then it brings you back to an old event, or a feeling comes up when something happened. It could be something that somebody says. This is a behavior, so it could be it could be your mom saying, "Well, oh no, you're going on a hike. You know, make sure you call me every 5 minutes." So that's a behavior that if you were going on a hike and you were looking forward to being out in nature by yourself, and then suddenly your mom is texting you every 5 minutes saying, "Are you safe? Are you safe? Are you safe?"
Right.
Then that triggers you right back into, "Oh no, I'm alone, and I guess I'm not safe. If my mom doesn't think I'm safe, I guess I'm not safe."
Right.
So let's look at this from an archetypal standpoint, and what I mean by that is human beings, in one way or the other, our problems aren't really that unique to ourselves. That whatever problem we've had, everybody else has probably at one time or another had that same problem.
Right.
It's just that the situation or the characters might change, but essentially we all go through the same situation, the same problem. So let's see what we can learn by looking at these archetypal patterns. Ask your heart to show you number 1 through 24.
13.
So this pattern is the 11-7-5 pattern. And so let's see if we can break this out a little bit. This pattern puts the issue or our problem in the 11th house of the zodiac. And the 11th house is the house of Aquarius, which is about breaking out of old structures and awakening awareness. And that is when we have problems with being indecisive or uncertain. Like, I want to travel, but I'm afraid I'm uncertain about my safety.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on right now. I want to teach abroad, but
yeah,
I have all of these what ifs.
And so the hero in this standpoint, which we're the hero going through these life adventures and these life challenges, the hero may find that their life suddenly changes.
Yeah.
And you said that you had just recently broken off with your fiancé, so that's a pretty big life change.
Right.
And so now you find yourself alone, or you may rebel against authority and old structures. And the obstacle, which is the thing that holds us in this old pattern, is found in the 7th house. And the 7th house is the house of Libra, which is about harmony and connection with others.
Right.
And so the challenge is to find harmony and relationship with yourself as well as others. So it's where the hero no longer relies on the outside world to define who they are or trying to fit in.
Right.
So in the family unit, we show our loyalty and our love to our family by being like them. So if the women in the family are afraid of traveling by themselves, then you align yourself, you show your loyalty and your love for them by having the same issue.
Right.
Is there any other dynamic in your family where there's a belief that life is about suffering, that you have to suffer, that life is full of challenges and it's hard?
Well, I mean, since I am so close to my mom, she's the first one that I think of, but her relationship with her significant other is nothing but a battle. I mean, they fight every day.
Okay.
It's almost like by showing that they're upset with something and fighting about something is how they show their affection, show that they care.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yes, of course. And so in your case, you've just broken off from a relationship.
Right.
And so now you're free to find another relationship, but also to explore being by yourself. So just thinking about what you said, is your mother one that is comfortable being by herself?
Oh, gosh, no.
Yeah. So as much as it's suffering to be with someone,
it's better than being on your own.
It's better than being on your own, being alone. Yeah.
Right.
And I think if we looked at this deeper, we would find similar dynamics probably in her mother.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about your grandparents and their relationship? On your mother's side?
I know that my grandfather worked a lot, but I'm not sure about their actual relationship, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, what's important is that when we bring this to consciousness, when we can look at it, then we have the choice to change. We can say, yes, okay, I see that I've been following that pattern, but now I can change that. I can make the conscious choice to live my life differently. And it doesn't mean that my mother won't love me or my family won't accept me.
Right.
Because that's that old childhood belief.
Right.
So then the question is the action. Well, what do we need to do to change this? We understand it, but what do I actually need to put into action? And that's where we see the action is in the 5th house of the zodiac, which is about, that's the house of Leo. It's about what we create in our sense of purpose. Leo
Okay.
is the house of the lion. It's the king of the jungle.
Right.
It's where we step into our own personal power. So here we reconnect with our own inner wisdom. And the heart earlier asked you to trust your inner voice and to connect with your own creative spirit.
Right.
And so that you are promoting generosity and warmth and love and play.
Right.
And instead of promoting fear and feeling alone and isolated.
Right.
Because as the king of the jungle, you're connected to everybody. So from all of that, I want to ask you, what have you learned from what your heart has told you today?
Oh gosh, I've learned so much. To trust myself, to trust my inner voice, and to look at being single as an opportunity to grow and to kind of create a relationship with myself, because yes, being alone is hard, but I don't know, because saying that I need to suffer out loud seemed so silly that I don't know, why do I need to suffer? Why not just have fun and play and just go? I think I need to travel. I need to get out of my little town.
Life is an adventure.
Life is an adventure. That's what I was looking for. Yes.
So as our positive statement, let's resonate with life is an adventure.
Life is an adventure.
And I trust myself.
And I trust my inner voice.
And I trust my inner voice. Can you say that again? Life is an adventure and I trust my inner voice.
Life is an adventure and I trust my inner voice.
So let's just make sure that our mind isn't sitting in the background saying, oh, that sounds so wonderful, but...
Right.
Yeah, I'm not sure I believe it.
Right.
So let's see what our mind is thinking by asking our heart to show us in number 1 through 24. So if I let go, it will just happen again. So what does that mean? What do you think your heart is trying to say to you here? Why is your mind... Yes?
If I let go... I think that... I think that this is it's been a big part of my life, especially since, it's come from my mom and from society, saying that women who travel are in danger, and especially going to all sorts of different places, that if I don't know, I took it as if I let go of my inner strength and my inner voice, then I'm just going to get stuck back in this I'm scared to travel situation.
And so how do we prevent your mind from sneaking in and sabotaging us?
I need to work on trusting my inner voice.
Okay. So is that something that you're up to?
Yes.
This negative mind belief isn't going to derail our session here?
No.
Okay. So it's good that our heart pointed that out to us.
Right.
But at the same time, we can overcome that.
Right.
So let's step into aligning ourselves with the harmony and the vibration of life is an adventure and I trust myself with a quantum healing code. And we'll find the code that we need to align ourselves with by asking your heart to show you a number 1 through 22.
19.
So the vibration of this quantum healing code is the vibration of 528 and 639. And 528 is the vibration of the heart, and 639 is the vibration of the throat. It's our personal expression.
Wow.
So it's asking us to bring the vibration of the heart into what we share and bring out into the world.
Wow.
So let's ask our heart, what do we need to do while we're listening to this vibration? Ask your heart to show you number 1 through 4.
3.
So while we're listening to this tone, we want to tap on our sternum. Are you right-handed or left-handed?
I'm right-handed.
So with your left hand, tap gently on your breastplate, your sternum. And while we're doing that, you're going to repeat 3 times out loud that life is an adventure and I trust my inner voice.
Okay.
And then repeat it out loud 3 times quietly to yourself, and then 3 times inside, so that you're only speaking to yourself.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready?
Yes. Life is an adventure, and I trust my inner self. Life is an adventure, and I trust my inner self. Life is an adventure, and I trust my inner self. Or my inner voice.
Wonderful. So let's ask our heart if we need anything else in order to fully integrate and to close this session with the number 1 through 6.
5.
So the heart says none.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that you're
healed.
fully integrated.
Okay.
But let's see if there's a positive action. Maybe there's something you need to actually physically do.
Okay.
Ask your heart for number 1 through 13.
12.
And there's no positive action, so you're good to go.
I was waiting for you to tell me that I needed to book a plane ticket.
Yeah, well, and so
That's
I'm
the
going
next
to
step.
scroll down to the bottom and I will send you a copy of the session.
Okay.
And thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was wonderful.
It
Well,
was.
good luck and send postcards.
Okay. I
Okay.
will.
Well, thank you. Bye-bye.